Okay. Good morning to all of you. I welcomes to all in our lecture series on electromagnetic theory, that is your core paper 13, belongs to 6th semester BSc syllabus. In our last class we have been discussed in detail about reflection and transmission or refraction of a plane electromagnetic waves by a perfect dielectric. Condition is normal incidence. In detail we have been discussed in our last class. In our today class we are going to be discuss that reflection and transmission or refraction of plane electromagnetic wave by a perfect dielectric but oblique incidence. Okay, oblique incidence. In our last class we have been discussed for the normal incident case. Normal incidence means the electromagnetic wave is propagating or going to be strike on the surface normally. Okay, this is your incident electromagnetic wave, or you can say the net uh, energy is going to propagate along this way, because if we are going to consider your energy which is represented by pointing vector, and that pointing vector will be represented with the help of P equal to E cross H. That means this P is nothing but your is along that is your propagation vector along the propagation direction P, or this P is represents the so-called energy. Okay, so energy is going to be strike, or we can say the incident electromagnetic wave going to be strike on the interface normally, and we discussed its reflection coefficient and the transmission coefficient in terms of electric and magnetic field. In today class, we are going to be discuss if the incident energy, if the incident energy or we can say also power, the incident power or energy, if it will be incident obliquely on the interface, then what will be the reflection coefficient. Okay, so here you can see that this is your plane of incidence, and this is your interface, and here in this way the electromagnetic wave incidence, and this way it is reflected, and this way this is your transmitted or refracted electromagnetic wave. So with this example, one example I am going to give you, with this you can understand the normal incidents and oblique incidents. See, this is your interface, this is your medium 1, this is another medium 2. Okay, so you consider this is the interface which connects the medium 1 and medium 2. Okay, and here from this side the electromagnetic wave is incidence, and this one is your plane of incidence. This one is a plane of incidence. So in our first case, what we done, the electromagnetic energy or wave or power, you can say electromagnetic wave is incidence normally, and its electric component and magnetic component will be like this, electric component and magnetic component, and it is traveling along positive z axis direction and interacted with this interface normally, I can say normally. But electric component and magnetic component, when it will be touch to the interface, they are will be tangential, but your uh, propagation vector of electromagnetic wave is normal to this interface. Okay, now we are going to be consider that if incidence will be oblique means this is your normal incidence, means along the normal it has been propagated, this is the normal. this is the normal, and this is the plane of incidence. This plane of incidence has to be contain both incident wave, reflected wave, transmitted wave this side, and the normal itself, normal to the interface. So this one is the normal to the interface. Okay, normal to the interface. So along this way, if the wave is traveling, that will be called the normal incidence. But if the wave incident like this, that means with an angle theta, with the normal, okay, with the normal, this is the normal, no? So this is the incident radiation, and this is your reflected radiation, reflected electromagnetic wave. This is your incident, and this side we are going to get the so-called transmitted one. But here, if it is incidence obliquely means, see, I am going to show you here like this. You have to consider like this, but I am showing here like this one, but you consider this one. Now that means, wait, here like this one. Okay, like this one you have to consider. Okay, so when the electromagnetic wave is going to be strike the interface obliquely, that means with an angle theta with the normal, and incidence with angle theta, with the same angle, it will be reflected. Let this is your theta r, and this side it will transmit. So it will be so-called transmitted wave, and corresponding theta will be called as theta t. That whatever we are going to discuss. So this is called as your interface. This is called as your plane of incidence, and you can see that plane of incidence contains both incident wave, reflected wave, transmitted wave, and the normal. Here normal means normal to this interface. Okay, these things keep in your mind. In our next topic, whatever we are going to discuss, there it will be useful. Okay, you keep this in your mind clearly. Okay, now the same thing here I have been drawn the figure. This is your interface boundary. Okay, this is your interface boundary. You can see like this. This is joined here, this is joined here. So this is your interface boundary, you can say. Okay, and this is the normal, and this is your plane of incidence. This rectangle represents plane of incidence, and this is your normal to the interface. This side is your medium 1, and this side is your medium 2. I have to write medium 1, and this is belongs to your medium 2, but both are dielectric. Okay, dielectric interface means this is purely perfectly dielectric interface. So as we know that when the wave is going to be incident with an angle to a surface, then part of it's going to be reflected and part of it's going to be refracted or transmitted. Here also same thing we are going to get. Here this way, the incident power or energy of the electromagnetic radiation we have been considered. See, these things we have been solved by considering the so-called power or energy of the electromagnetic radiation, not the electric and magnetic component. Okay, so this way let the incident power, and this way reflected power when it is going to be interacted with the interface. This is your interface, this is your plane of, okay, this is your interface, this is your plane of incidence. So this way gone, the incident power or incident electromagnetic wave, and this way it has been reflected. Okay, this way incidence, and this way reflected, and part of it's transmitted, or we can say refracted. Okay, somewhere some books they have been written that refraction, somewhere it is written transmission. So you write heading as transmission and in bracket refraction, but whenever I derived, I written in the language of theta t or transmission. Okay. So what we discussed in the figure, that same thing it has been written over here with a simple steps. That is, your theta I is the angle of incidence. Okay. So here same thing it has been, let the plane electromagnetic wave incident on an insulator or perfect dielectric surface obliquely as shown in the figure, this one. A part of it's reflected, and part of it's transmitted as shown in the figure. So from figure it can be found that it can be found that theta I is the angle of incidence. This is your angle of incidence. Theta R is the angle of refraction. Theta T is your angle of transmission or the so-called refraction. N1, here N1, it is not eta 1. N1 is the refractive index of medium 1 and N2 is the refractive index of medium 2. These things initially we have been considered. And from Snell's laws of reflection, that we know theta I equal to theta R, that is your angle of incidence equal to angle of reflection, that we know. So theta I equal to theta R. Let this is your equation number 1. And from Snell's law we know that theta I by theta T, that means this is the angle of incident to angle of refraction or angle of transmission will be equal to N2 by N1, that we know. This is the basic things whatever we have been studied in our plus 2 level. So sine theta I by sine theta T, because ray is moving from this side to this side, so theta I sine theta I by sine theta T will be equal to N2, refractive index of medium 2 by refractive index of medium 1. Let this is your equation number 1. But we know that refractive index is nothing but C by V. So for medium 1 it can be written as C by V1, and for medium 2 it will be C by V2, where C is the velocity of the wave in air, or you can vacuum, velocity of wave in vacuum, and V1 is your velocity of wave in the medium 1, V2 velocity of wave in medium 2. Very simple steps, you just follow it. By substituting the value of N1 and N2 in our equation number 2, we are going to just substitute this N1 and N2 value over here. Then it will be C by V2 by C by V1. We are going to get V1 by V2. Let this is your equation number 3. And also we know that V1 equal to mu 1 by mu1 epsilon 1, because we know that when the wave is traveling, then V will nothing but electromagnetic wave, if I am going to consider in the free space, then it will be mu 0 by V0. The so-called C, the free space, the value is electromagnetic wave, that means light speed is nothing but C equal to 1 by mu 0 epsilon 0. If I am going to put mu 0 value and epsilon 0 value, approximately we can get 3 into 10 to the 8 meter per second, that we have been studied in our previous classes. You can search your note. So here we can write any medium, in any medium, suppose medium 1, so V1 instead of C we can write V1, it will be corresponding mu1 and epsilon 1 root over. So hence V1 can be written as 1 by mu1 epsilon 1 root over V2 equal to 1 by root over of mu2 epsilon 2, where mu1 is the permeability of medium 1, mu2 is the permeability of medium 2, epsilon 1 is your permittivity of medium 1, and epsilon 2 is your permittivity of medium, epsilon 1 permittivity of medium 1 and epsilon 2 is your permittivity of medium 2. And but mu r for perfect dielectric material is 1. These things also we have been discussed in our last class, that mu r relative permeability, this is your relative permeability. You can write that we know, no need to write. This is your mu r is nothing but your relative permeability. The name is relative permeability. So relative permeability mu r for perfect dielectric material is 1, and if we are going to consider mu 1 and mu 2 will be equal to mu 0, because mu is nothing but mu r into mu 0. So for mu 1, if we are going to consider mu 1, then it will be mu r1 into mu 0, but mu r1 or the so-called relative permeability of dielectric material is 1. So for medium 1 it will be also 1, for medium 2 also it is a perfect dielectric material, also it will be 1. So if we are going to be define mu 1, it will be mu r1 into mu 0. Mu r1 is 1, so mu 1 equal to mu 0. Likewise mu 2 also equal to mu 0. So hence what we defined velocity, that is v1 equal to 1 by mu1 epsilon 1 root over v2 1 by root over of mu2 epsilon 2. If we are going to put mu1 is equal to mu 0 and mu2 equal to mu 0, then v1 is going to be right as 1 by mu 0 epsilon 0 root over mu2 v2 equal to 1 by root over of mu 0 epsilon 0. By substituting values of v1 and v2 in equation number 3, now we are going to substitute this v1 and v2 value in equation number 3. In equation number 3 is nothing but sin theta I by sin theta t equal to v1 by v2. Now we are going to substitute the value of v1 and v2 here in equation number 3. We can get sin theta 1 by sin theta t equal to 1 by root over of mu 0 epsilon 1 root over the whole divided by 1 by mu 0 root over of mu 0 epsilon 2. So here mu 0 got cancelled, so it will be mu epsilon 2 will be go to the numerator, so it will be epsilon 2 by epsilon 1 whole root over. Okay, now from the Snell's law, therefore Snell's law initially we have been written that sin theta I by sin theta t equal to n2 by n1, and in another form it has been written as sin theta I by sin theta t equal to root over of epsilon 2 by epsilon 1. So Snell's law is written in another form, that is your sin theta I by sin theta t equal to epsilon 2 by epsilon 1 root over, let this is your equation number 4. Okay, now since power transmitted per square meter or Poynting vector is given by, we know that the so-called Poynting vector is represents the power transmitted per unit square or unit area, you can say, per square meter. That means meter square means per unit area, which represents the Poynting vector, that is your P equal to E cross H, or P can be written as E modulus H modulus sin theta n cap. Here n cap is the perpendicular to both E and H. If we are going to consider first one, then the power is transmitting in this way normally to the interface. But here in our second case oblique incidence, for oblique incidence the power is transmitting this way obliquely to the interface. Okay, so here if we are going to consider the modulus value of this power, it will be E modulus H modulus sin theta. We are not going to be bother about the direction, only magnitude value will be this one. Here E and H are the right angles to each other, so hence theta will be 90 degrees, so P modulus will be equal to E modulus H modulus. But as we know that intrinsic impedance is nothing but E by H, E modulus and H modulus are amplitude of E by H. So that implies H modulus or amplitude of H will be equal to E amplitude by eta. This is eta. This is here. This is not your N. This is eta. Carefully you have to write down. Don't be confused eta and N. That is your refractive index. Here we have been discussed. Here we written N. Okay, refractive index. But here this is represents intrinsic impedance, that is your eta. By substituting the value of this H in equation number P mod over here, then we can get P mod magnitude of power will be equal to E modulus into E modulus by eta, or we can write E square by eta. Thus magnitude of power transmitted per square meter or per unit area. See, per square meter is not sounds good. In bracket you can write per unit area. Okay, per square meter means per unit area. Okay, so thus magnitude of power sound transmitted per unit area or per square meter is equal to E square by eta is equal to thus here it is written that thus magnitude of power transmitted per uh, unit area or square meter is equal to E square by eta. Vectorially, transmission of power can be represented as, if this is your magnitude, then vectorially it will be E square by eta into n cap, whatever here we have been written already. So here n cap is the direction which is perpendicular to both E and H. Now the magnitude of the power in the incident wave, which is this line is most important in this topic. This two line is important, that's it. Now the magnitude of power in the incident wave which is perpendicular to the dielectric interface will be proportional to 1 by eta 1 ei square cos theta I. What is the meaning of that we are going to discuss. So here we found this is the magnitude. In general, this is the magnitude of a magnitude of the power per unit area of an electromagnetic wave, right? Now we are going to consider the incident electromagnetic wave. If we are going to consider, carefully you have to watch, if we are going to consider this is your incident electromagnetic wave, then Pi will be how much? Instead of E, I have to write Ei. No need to write here, no need. I am just explaining, you just watch. So it will be Ei square by eta, right? For Pi, the magnitude of incident power will be Ei square by eta. However, we are considering the power which is incidence normally. Okay, incidence normally. Then we can use your conservation of power, conservation of energy, that is incident energy will be reflected plus transmitted. So only for that we are going to consider the power which will be incident normally. But here actually the power is incidence or energy is incidence. See, energy per unit time means power. If there is no time limit, then it will be called as the so-called energy. So in any language you can write the note, but whatever I written you just write in that way. So here in this, but actually in this case the power is incidence obliquely and reflected in this way, right? But we are interested to find out if this is the incidence, then what is the value of the power which will be incident normally to the surface. Okay, so if this will be theta, okay, if this will be theta I, then suppose here from this starting point the power is incidence. Suppose this is the source point. So if this theta I, then obviously this will be theta I. Okay, because these two lines are parallel, so here it will be like this. Okay, so you can consider that this is the common angle, so 90 minus this common angle if theta, then this will be the also 90 minus this common angle will be the theta I. Or in this way, these two parallel lines, so this, if this will be theta I, so this will be theta I. So if this is your incidence power along this direction, then it will have two components. Along this one another one component, along this one another component, right? This way it will be what? Pi cos theta I, yes or no? This way Pi cos theta I, and this way Pi sin theta I. Okay, so the power which is incidence normally, that will be penetrate properly this interface. So here this way. That means also we can consider this is the normal component of this power. That means along this way, this much power is propagating and striking over this surface. Got it? So pi, instead of pi we can write ei square by n, right? N means if we are going to consider this medium, then this will be n1, right? So hence only for that. So the magnitude of the power, now the magnitude of the power which will be incidence normally to the surface, that power is going to be propagate through the surface much more if we are going to consider uh, in this way. The theta will be the angle and theta will be here, the power will be propagate less. That means theta will be changes, this whole things is going to be changes. So in theta will be 0, then this is incidence normally. If theta equal to 90 degree, then we are going to consider this is perpendicular component, this component which will be not to be transmit through this interface. That means here the incidence power will be proportional to this factor, this much, that is ei square by eta 1 pi cos theta I. Okay, so initially it was how much? It was your only pi component, right? Sorry, here I written pi cos theta, that means equal to ei square by n1 cos theta I, because pi is nothing but ei square by n1, right? So pi cos theta will be ei square by n1 into cos theta I. So here we have pi is nothing but this one, incident power, but as it is oblique, now the magnitude of the power in the incident wave, which will be here now the magnitude of power in incident wave will be proportional. No need to write this is perpendicular to the dielectric interface. These things no need to write, because as we written that will be proportional to this one. So on the base of theta I, this value is going to be changed. When theta I will be 0, this value will be large. When theta I will be 90 degree, this value is less. So it is proportional. So here P magnitude of pi, that is your ei square by eta, which is proportional, this will be proportional to this one. Here we written cos theta I. When theta will be changed, this factor is going to be changed. You got it? Because as it is obliquely incidence, it has two components, this one and this one. This component could not be transmit. This power could not be transmit because power direction is this way, interface this one. When the power direction will be this way, which is normal to this one, the maximum power is going to be transmit. But when it will be somewhat angle, the power transmission is going to be reduced. So as theta is going to be changed, this value pi cos theta I or ei square by eta 1 cos theta I is going to be changed. So on the base of cos theta I value, this whole value is going to be changed. So only for that we have been written over here. Now the magnitude of power in the incident wave will be proportional to 1 by eta 1 into ei square into cos theta I, right? Therefore this 1 by eta I ei square cos theta I is the incident energy. So no need to write the perpendicular to the interface, because if theta I will be equal to 0, then it will be perpendicular to the interface. So in general we can write this factor, which is nothing but incident energy to the interface. So theta I changes, the incident energy value magnitude is going to be changed. So this will be 1 by eta 1, this one eta 1, because this is your incident and reflected, both the waves are in the same medium. So 1 by eta 1 er square cos theta r reflected energy to the interface, 1 by eta 2 et square cos theta t is your transmitted energy to the interface, where ei, er, et are the amplitudes of incident, reflected and transmitted electric field strengths respectively. Now, from laws of conservation of energy, that we know that incident energy will be the sum of reflected and transmitted energy. So we are going to be just put the values, the magnitudes, that is your 1 by eta 1 ei square cos theta e equal to 1 by eta 1 er square cos theta r plus 1 by eta 2 cos et square cos theta t. Now, but we know that law of reflection, from the law of reflection, theta I equal to theta r. Instead of theta r, if we are going to use theta I over here, then the equation, the above equation is going to be modified to 1 by eta 1 ei square cos theta I equal to 1 by eta 1 er square cos theta I, because theta r equal to theta I, plus 1 by eta 2 cos et square cos theta t. Now we are going to divide ei square cos theta I by eta 1 both the side with all the terms. Then what we are going to get, this term we are going to be divide with this, so it will be 1 obviously. So now we are going to divide this one with this one. So n1 sorry, eta 1 got cancelled, cos theta I also is going to be cancelled out. We are going to get er square by ei square, plus here this, with this term, if I am going to divide this one, so here you can see 1 by eta 1 by 1 by eta, here it is 1 by eta 2, it will be, when I am going to divide this one with here, so it will be 1 by eta 1, so eta 1 will be moved to numerator, so eta 1 by eta 2 into also ei square cos theta I will be at the numerator. Okay, so et square cos theta t divided by ei square by cos theta I. Whenever we are going to divide this one with this, then we are going to get this. Okay, now er square by ei taken this side will be this one, or you take this term to left side, it will be er square by ei square will be equal to 1 minus eta 1 by eta 2 into et square cos theta t by ei square cos theta I. Okay, so eta 1 we know that mu 1 by epsilon 1, and eta 2 is nothing but mu 2 by epsilon 2, where mu 1 mu 2 equal to mu 0 for the perfect dielectric medium. So hence, instead of eta 1 we can write mu 0 by epsilon 1, and eta 2 can be written as mu 0 by epsilon 2, whatever I have been written over here. So er square by ei equal to 1 minus root over of mu 0 by epsilon 1 et square cos theta t, root over of mu 0 by epsilon 2 ei square by cos theta I. So here root over of mu 0 has been cancelled out, so it will be er square by ei square equal to 1 minus this epsilon 2 will be moved to the numerator, it will be epsilon 2 by epsilon 1 whole root over into et square. So here et square ei square can be written as et by ei whole square cos theta I by cos theta t by cos theta I. Let this is your equation number 5. So but in case of oblique incidence, the reflection and transmission of electromagnetic waves by dielectric or insulator obey two types of polarization, that is your perpendicular polarization, or also called the horizontal polarization, parallel polarization, or vertical polarization. Two type of polarization. For two type of polarization, what will be the so-called your reflection coefficient and transmission coefficient, that we are going to discuss in our next class. Okay, so this is we can say this is the half portion of your this long question, and another half portion will be completed by discussing with this one and this one. But so in exam maybe you are going to get that discuss electromagnetic wave propagation in your oblique incidence, and discuss only perpendicular polarization or only parallel polarization. In exam you are going to get, but our the topic, whatever we are discussing for the oblique incidence, it will be completed whenever we are going to complete that completed this and this things. So in the next class we are going to discuss perpendicular polarization or horizontal polarization. So I suggest to all of you that pause the video, write down the note whatever we have been discussed, write draw the figure perfectly. Here these things no need to write over here. Here these things, how it will be proportional to pi cos theta, I have been explained. So here these things no need to write. So write down and be ready for the next class. Thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you.